but I wanted to touch base with you real quick about this one against Dennis Gilstrap. Here at the JDDC, we only have jurisdiction over the judicial branch judges, and because he's a county judge, he's an executive branch. You know, he's not the same as a judge that decides court cases necessarily. You know, he's over the quorum court. And so I wanted you to know that we won't have jurisdiction of this one. And usually what happens is when we get these in, our executive director will review them for our jurisdiction. And within a week or two, the complainants will usually get a letter in the mail saying, hey, we received your complaint, and either an indication that we're going to be able to go forward with it in some way or an indication that we're not. But once I read the facts having to do with the Freedom of Information Act stuff, I wanted to go ahead and reach out to you because I know sometimes people are expecting a very timely response. So I wanted you to know the one Dennis Gilstrap, we don't have any jurisdiction over quorum court judges, just the judicial branch judges. So, you know, O'Hearn and people like that who are judicial branch judges fit our jurisdiction.
Oh, absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Hey,
Okay.
I understand what you're saying there, but as far as McCune, he also has previous incidents with me as far as me telling him as a prosecutor basically over the phone to his face that he and his office were incompetent. So for him to have the balls to sit there and be a judge and bond over me,
right,
that's the next one that'll be coming as far as conflict of interest with him.
Sure.
Charlie Baker, his deal was a simple fact that I filed terroristic threat charges with an audio recording that he played off he couldn't really understand, but it's amazing the detective that pushed the charges on my behalf heard 2 threats against my life. I only caught one because in the heat of the moment I was pretty pissed off. So, of course, Charlie Baker recused himself. Now, Judge O'Hearn wants to decide to put something in that violates my due process to begin with, as you can understand through me talking legalese, not apparently to you, but the fact that I understand my right to due process was violated.
Sure.
So, public defenders who fail to do their job when a client tells them, I want these people in court, and they're not there, so there's no public opinion on my behalf, but every government official can be in the courtroom, but they're going to tell my wife she can't be there when I'm medically ill. So do I need to phrase all that stuff to you in those complaints about these other judges also? And the fact that O'Hearn's sticking his nose in a First Amendment violation with filed fictitious charges? Everybody can watch the video. It's on my 7 Freedom Audits channel, the one that I explicitly posted to you in the complaint.
Yeah, when you file those other complaints, be sure that, well, I can't really tell you how to write the complaint, but based upon what you're saying, if you put all of that in there, it's definitely something that the executive director would review, and then the investigation panel.
Oh, yeah, because I am contacting the Washington Department of Civil Rights Violation Task Force. And I had a senator finally got me that number after several years. But everybody likes to point the finger at each other in government. Now, I'm not explicitly saying you. You were actually the first professional in 7 years from under the administration of Governor Dipshit that actually had the professional courtesy to respond in a diplomatic manner. And God bless you for that, young lady.
Well, yeah, you're welcome. I mean, that's what we are public servants. Our salaries are paid by the taxpayers, obviously. And so when I saw your complaint, I wanted to be sure that you understood. Once I read the facts and I saw what was going on, I wanted you to know that Dennis Gilstrap is not somebody that you'll be able to get us to do anything about.
Who would I?
Just the way it's split. You know,
well, being that you're aware of that, the way it's split, who would I go to that? Because I've already went to Governor Dipshit here in Arkansas, and he refuses to do anything about his administration staff.
Right. Well, and here's kind of the complicated thing about
no,
that.
it's okay. You don't have to get real complicated with me because I can too. I can file a civil rights lawsuit against them.
Sure. So let me explain this, and what I mean by complicated is in the sense that it sort of makes sense and it sort of doesn't make sense. Because he's an elected official, he is someone on the executive branch elected officials that a lot of times the ethical type of stuff is kind of handled like, well, the next election, maybe they could be voted out, right? The other side of that is, since he oversees the quorum court, I guess there could be some sort of, you could request something to be placed on the quorum court agenda. Now, I'm not saying that would work, but I have seen citizens who have issues with county judges request to be on the agenda when the quorum court meets. You know how they normally have a time for public discussion of something.
You're the first public official explaining this in detail to me, and thank you.
You're welcome. And so the other part of that, which also may be a little bit more time consuming, but it sounds to me like that's not an issue for you, is that within the Attorney General's office, they do have a public corruption department, and so they will investigate allegations of public corruption having to do with elected officials. Now, because I've never worked in that department, I don't know what their guidelines are or how they receive their complaints, but you could call the Attorney General's office and ask for someone in the public corruption department.
Well, they're probably investigating Leslie Rutledge right now, so I guarantee their hands are probably full.
Well,
and with that, I actually asked the Attorney General's office about that, and they had the audacity to tell me that they only handle consumer affairs.
They don't. They have a department there that, should be able to talk to you about allegations of public corruption. The other place, which sometimes when I tell people this, it makes them uncomfortable, but the state police is also the law enforcement agency that oftentimes may investigate.
State police are going to be a part of my lawsuit. I told you, when I go for, since people like to come at my family's throat, I like to respond in kind. I don't mean that as far as physical, but financially, I'm already poor. You can't push me down any further than what I am.
Yeah. Well, and I sort of anticipated, my gut was telling me that there may be something also going on with state police, because a lot of times in the different areas of the state, I can see your address up there in Mulberry on your complaint that I'm looking at. But in other areas of the state, sometimes the state police are so closely connected to the local agencies, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of overlap, whereas here in Little Rock, the state police kind of defer to the local officials, for lack of a better way to explain that. But I wanted to throw that out there, too, because there are state police, I don't know if it's a division or a department, but also will investigate allegations of public corruption. And so there are different ways that, you can go about.
And I've attempted to do all those means. Who am I speaking with by chance, young lady?
Emily Abbott.
Thank you, Emily. I've exhausted all these means in the last 7 years, and it's all resulted from the initial contact of a child abuse allegation that was supposedly settled, and 7 months later they decided to come back with charges against my wife. Nobody seems to understand the Constitution, law of the land, and any laws made thereafter that infringe or abridge our rights are null and void. No corporate law in this country, I don't care what part of the judicial branch you're in, has the right to circumvent the supreme law of the land. I'm pretty much correct, huh?
Yeah. You are. As far as that goes.
And these judges, including Judge O'Hearn, are going to find that out. And when they throw me in jail because they don't like my attitude, then I guess that gives me right to tear that jail to frickin' pieces.
Well, I wouldn't do that. You know what would happen if you do that? You just catch some more charges.
Yeah, well, they're all null and void charges from conception. You've already violated my rights to begin with. So I guess we can go ahead and add more false charges on top of it.
Well,
you get my feeling, though, Emily.
I get your drift.
Pretty sure you understand that. They gonna find out here in Arkansas, I was a wrong effing Yankee to mess with, especially my kids and my wife.
Right.
I have a history in the past, young lady. That's back then. That's null and void. And ever since I moved to the Christian state, I found more hypocrites than throughout the rest of the country. and I'm from Pennsylvania. How do you say that? Hypocrite International.
Yeah.
So I thank you for your kindness and your courtesy, and I will get those other 3 complaints done, being that they are officers
Sure.
under your purview, and I'm pretty sure that what I explained to Gilstrap, I can refer back to that in the complaint for them.
Yes. Okay, so I am letting the rest of our staff here know that I've talked to you, so that way, hopefully you won't get another phone call from someone saying, hey, we don't have jurisdiction over this particular complaint, but once you submit the other complaints, you should get a letter in the mail. Now, the one thing is, if your address happens to change, give us a shout and let us know that so we can route your mail to the correct address.
Oh no, the good Lord blessed us with this. Got a good deal on this land for my wife and kids, and that's pretty much going to stay the way it is.
Okay. All right. Well, if you need anything, give us a call back.
All right. God bless you. I appreciate it.
God bless you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.